According to the National Electrical Code, the size of the bonding conductor for water heaters depends on the size of the main feeder serving the service panel. For main feeders of 200 amps or less, a number 8 American wire gauge copper or larger conductor must be used. For main feeders larger than 200 amps, a conductor not smaller than the smaller of the cold water main feeder or the service entrance conductor must be used. If the main feeder size is not specified, a number 8 American wire gauge conductor would be the minimum size required for bonding the water heater. However, using a larger conductor such as a number 6 American wire gauge for this purpose is not a violation of the National Electrical Code. While the National Electrical Code provides the minimum requirements for electrical installations, local jurisdictions may have more stringent requirements. In some areas, inspectors may require the use of a larger bonding conductor for water heaters, even if the National Electrical Code does not mandate it. It is always a good practice to follow the requirements of the local jurisdiction where the installation is being performed. If unsure about the requirements, consult with the local electrical authority. In general, the use of a number 6 American wire gauge conductor for bonding the water heater would be acceptable as it meets or exceeds the National Electrical Code minimum requirement. However, it is important to verify the requirements of the local jurisdiction to ensure compliance. The purpose of bonding is to create a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source, allowing the overcurrent protective device to trip and clear the fault. This is crucial for safety, preventing electrical shock hazards. The main components involved in water heater bonding are firstly, the grounding electrode conductor, which connects the grounding electrode system to the service equipment. Secondly, the bonding jumpers, which connect metallic parts to the grounding system. Thirdly, the water heater itself, which needs to be properly bonded. When sizing the bonding conductor, refer to National Electrical Code Table 250.102, which provides the minimum size of the bonding jumper based on the size of the ungrounded conductors. For example, if the ungrounded conductors are number 2 American wire gauge copper, the minimum size bonding jumper would be number 8 American wire gauge copper. It is permissible to use a larger conductor than required, but not smaller. Ensure the bonding connections are made properly, using listed connectors and ensuring they are accessible for inspection and maintenance. Common mistakes include using the wrong size conductor, improper connections, and neglecting to bond all metallic parts of the water heater. The National Electrical Code Section 250 covers grounding and bonding requirements in detail. Section 250.104 specifically addresses bonding of metal water piping and other metal parts. Always consult the latest edition of the National Electrical Code and local amendments to ensure compliance. Furthermore, consider the material of the conductor. Copper is a common choice, but other materials like aluminum may be permitted under certain conditions. When using aluminum, ensure it is properly terminated and protected from corrosion. Also, remember to bond any metallic gas piping systems near the water heater, as required by the National Electrical Code. This helps to prevent stray currents from causing corrosion or other hazards. The length of the bonding conductor should be kept as short as possible to minimize impedance. Avoid sharp bends or kinks in the conductor, as this can increase impedance and reduce its effectiveness. Regular inspections of the bonding connections are important to ensure they remain tight and free from corrosion. Over time, connections can loosen or corrode, compromising the integrity of the grounding system. If any issues are found, promptly repair or replace the affected components. In addition to the water heater, other appliances and equipment should also be properly bonded. This includes metal enclosures, raceways, and other metallic parts that could become energized. The principles of grounding and bonding are fundamental to electrical safety. By understanding and following the National Electrical Code requirements, electrical shock hazards can be minimized and a safe electrical system can be ensured. If there are any doubts or questions, always consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector. They can provide guidance and ensure that the installation meets all applicable codes and standards. Also, consider the potential for future expansion or modifications to the electrical system. It may be beneficial to install a slightly larger bonding conductor than currently required to accommodate future needs. This can save time and money in the long run. Furthermore, be aware of any specific requirements or recommendations from the water heater manufacturer. They may have additional instructions or guidelines for bonding the unit. In some cases, they may require the use of a specific type of connector or bonding method. It is important to follow these instructions to ensure the warranty is valid and the water heater operates safely. Remember that the grounding and bonding system is only as good as its weakest link. Therefore, it is essential to pay attention to every detail and ensure that all components are properly installed and maintained. A properly installed and maintained grounding and bonding system is essential for electrical safety, preventing electrical shock hazards and ensuring the reliable operation of electrical equipment. It is a fundamental aspect of electrical installations that should never be overlooked. Always prioritize safety and follow the applicable codes and standards.